Notes are a vital part of maximizing our productivity. And often, too many people either take too many notes or none at all. And I've been in the camp of pretty much none at all or a very minimal amount because I've tried Notion, I've tried Keep, I've tried Apple's Notes, I've tried every single note software out there, and I finally found one that just got me, and that's Obsidian. So today I wanted to walk you through Obsidian, how I use it, and how other people use it. Obviously on this screen, you can see the crazy things. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos and other people, and I've taken little bits from other folks, and I've found my jam, and I want it to be simplistic. That's the big thing here. Because when I look through this, adding like this graph view and a whole bunch of other like linking options, and it can do some crazy stuff. But that is not how I use it. I use it to organize my thoughts and also to basically take 3 jobs and put them all into one. So this is my Obsidian right over here. Obviously, I don't really use it a ton. Like you can see my to-do of some videos I'm actually in early production on, video I'm actually doing right now, and then when I'm done I put it over here. So this is a simplified like Notion style layout that I use, but everything is laid out in markdown files. That's the big thing about Obsidian, is if you like markdown, you'll like this. And I really like this. This is a typical layout. This is a reading layout. This is the source layout. And you can actually look at both side by side, much like this. And you can see, wow, this is great. So I do qualify, I do an outline, I shoot it, I edit it, I do my thumbnail, I publish it, and then I do an initial hook. I'm usually not like word for word, I'm more of a bullet point kind of guy. And then the content itself, where I kind of like lay out what we're about to do. The cool thing about this is when I make a video, usually I kind of have a gist of what's happening, and I sometimes make a website to go with it, or a web page to go with it. Well, guess what? On here, I just took my Obsidian notes, uploaded it to my other website, which uses Markdown. So I'm using my notes to do my notes. I'm using my notes to create a web page, and I'm using my notes to make a YouTube video. So I'm able to do basically 3 jobs all in one, and it's just a simple upload. So with this, I'm able to show you how I set it up. I wanted to just kind of do this brief overview at the start so you can see, wow, that's kind of a cool little use case. And I don't want you to set it up just like I do. I want you to think of what you like out of here, but just know there's so much more to discover with Obsidian. The sky is the limit, and this is just the starting place. And I've only been using this app for probably a week or 2. Really, I've only been diving into it for really about 2 to 3 days. So very new myself, and I already see how powerful this is. So how did I set this up? We're going to just do a basic setup today, just so you can kind of mirror my setup, or just take the things that you like. I'm not going to use too many plugins because plugins tend to kind of cobble things up. There's 4 plugins I use. Template, which is a core plugin, and then there's community plugins. Kanban, which is like a Notion style board, like when we go to our to-do list and we look at this. So that's what Kanban is. Data view, really, you don't need it. It's really more for an advanced user or people with tons of notes and they want to organize them. But there's a cool little setting in there, and that's this weird line of text that I use for a progress bar. And all that progress bar is counting all the check marks and how many check marks I haven't shot yet. So when I do that, and let's say I go to my to-do, pull back into here, you see the percent changes. So it's kind of a cool little visual reference for me. Not really needed, but that's how I use that plugin. And then we have the homepage plugin, which is basically just adding a little home right there to just close everything out, get me back to my to-do list. And that's it. That's all I use this for. Again, simplicity is key. So how do I do it? First, you'd launch into your new whatever it is, and then you'd want to go into core plugins, scroll down, enable template, or you can just type up here temp, and just make sure templates is enabled. By default, it's going to be off. So you do that, and then usually after you enable it, you come into your templates folder, and then you need to select a templates folder directory. Over here on the left side, you just create that new folder and call it templates or whatever you want to do. You can see I expanded out here. And if we select this, anytime I create a new specific one in my Kanban, I have it use the YouTube template. Moving on, the next one is we go into community plugins. Now you'll have to turn off safe mode, which it has this big scary prompt, but just say yes, turn it off, click browse. And I've put a bunch of other stuff in here, but really the thing I care about is really Kanban. Homepage, if you want to just close everything out and go to one specific page like I do, you can do it. For homepage, really all I do is say, hey, my homepage is my to-do, which is all this one's set up for. So once you create your one page that you always want to go back to, that's why you'd use homepage. So let's emulate this Kanban board or a Notion-esque board into like our own new thing. So obviously to create new notes and things, these are just basic markdown files. They're not really a board. So to do that, we need to do our little command template over here and then just type Kanban, create a new board. Since we're not doing this every day, it doesn't matter. And let's add our list. So we'll do our queue is like new videos that might, ideas or something. You could add that. Active, something that we're currently doing, and then finished for that. And anything that adds in this list, let's mark as done. And then let's create a video on bootloaders. Wow, that's pretty darn cool. But we also need to assign the template before we create this note. So what we'll do is come in here and say the template, YouTube video, where do we want to create new things? When we create a note in these boards, where should it go? What folder does it want to put it in? By default, it just puts it in the root. But let's say I want to put that in active production because I want that note to be spitting out. If you want to change how big the lanes are, you can do that. Since I'm 1440p, I like to go about 350 for that. And then I leave everything else stock. So everything's done. And now we have this beautiful layout and we can create a note from it. So we'll create a new note and close that new board that we created. You see it grabbed our entire template. We hold control, click up here. You can see how the web page would look or the markdown is finalized. I have the source view over here and a preview of what's going on over here. And then we can create the whole bootloaders video or the outline for it. And usually I kind of like rough draft this. Anything in Markdown is just right here at your fingertips, and you can make hotkeys for everything. This command palette, if there's something you're using out of this, like lists or whatever it might be, you can assign a hotkey to it. I mean, the possibilities for efficiency and productivity on this is just unparalleled. So I love Obsidian for this aspect. And this is just a very basic level of it. This is how I'm using it. I've only been using it for a week and already it has saved me so much time. I can't even fathom over a year. I literally will be as if there was 3 of me because of how efficient this has made me, where it makes a web page for me. If we look at like my Obsidian guide, this web page is what you're seeing over here because all of my Markdown immediately gets converted to a website. Because I use Hugo Nutlify, which I covered in a past video. As I'm making my notes, it's making a web page for me. And it also gives me a nice little how-to guide. As I go through this, everything I showed today is right here on this website. So go here, christitus.com/Obsidian. And this is just the text view of today's video. Looking at this, it's so cool. And there's so many plugins that I didn't show. We could do flowcharts with something like this. Just bam, right in there. And then maybe some text and go VM setup. The sky is the limit with this thing. And you can also make this automatically spit out to a PNG file and import it. This is just another plugin I found. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, the power, the possibilities, it makes my mind just spin into control. But I don't want to cover any more because simplicity is the best. So those 3 plugins, that is my main base, my foundation. Hopefully this helps you. If not, let me know in the comments. And if you have some other setup, they're like, oh, Titus, you need to try this out. Let me know in those comments as well. With that said, thank you to everybody at christitus.com, all the members over there. Helps me make videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next one.